all new. AM1150 WTMP.com.
It's still gonna be just great.
Serving Tampa Bay since 1954. The Heritage Station. WTMP. Egypt Lake, Tampa, St. Pete. 97.5 in Pinellas.
Just in time.
Wow.
Well, the die, takes a couple weeks.
Little touch up.
Yeah. All right. It's that time again. Mama, they go that man.
There we go.
Yeah, the 070, what was it, 076 man, 097 man used to sell grease and Cadillacs,
That's before my time, Eddie.
Yeah, I know, I understand. That's a hood thing,
All right.
If you weren't there, you wouldn't understand.
I guess.
Anyway, folks, it's that time again, and the herd is here. The conservative, black, Hispanic, Republicans, and just for the record, Trump had somebody killed. I know that's blistering everybody.
I thought only Obama could do that.
Well, he used Obama methods. He just continued them. I know everybody's butthurt again. Trump done did something that took a little bit of guts, and and we're not gonna start to show off with that.
No, not at all.
No, we're gonna talk about some other stuff. So
yeah.
But let's go ahead and get the show started. For those who want to call in during the show, 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. Those who want to call me, Eddie Adams Jr., after the show, and this is Porch Talk Radio.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's still
Live.
around. Everybody's still around. Know what we're doing, and those who just tune in, they tune in for the show. So we understand that whole process.
Put your seatbelt on. Get ready.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that kind of a ride today because we gotta actually get some kind of input from the community, hopefully, because of the nature of what we're gonna try to do here. And again, the purpose of this show is to help move the black community forward. I don't mind saying black and white and all that kind of stuff because it's about communication. We're not politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have to remind people that because every week we get new listeners. We get people who haven't heard the show before, or somebody who tunes in by accident. Because I'm gonna tell you, that's actually how I discovered Rush Limbaugh. I was going to work one day and driving down 275, and I was, strolling through the stations, and I heard his voice. So didn't know what the topic was, but I heard the voice. So I stopped and listened a little bit, and heard him say some things, and he said some things that I liked, so I continued listening, and I left the radio there. So I went in to work.
It just made sense, didn't it?
Yeah, I went in to work. I was working at TampaBay, and then so the next day, same time, he has a 3-hour show, and so I didn't hear the whole show, but I was hearing enough of it to where it piqued my interest, and here it is.
It was a sign from God.
Years later, still listening. So anyway, and back then
And we're better for it.
And back then I was a Democrat too. And
Pray for your soul.
how I sold it to my other workers at TampaBay because everybody in the lab at that time was Democrat. I say I had to learn. We had to know what the other side was saying and doing. So
and that's true.
The best way to do that was to listen to Rush Limbaugh at that time.
Boom.
And that's when he was new. He wasn't a big mega star he is today. Then he was just getting started. This was in 85, 86.
Yep, I was there.
Then 87. And from then on.
In between eating the jalapeno peppers, we tuned into it and listened to it there in the Hispanic neighborhood.
It didn't take long to get hooked, And again,
boy spoke truth.
It wasn't so much the fact that he was down on America. It was so much that he was up on America, even back then. And to hear someone constantly talk about how we were good and how we were heading in the right direction and when everybody else was taking stuff down, he was building stuff up. And
that's awesome.
I've always been one of them build up kind of people as opposed to tearing down. It takes a lot more energy to try to tear something down than to do to build something up.
There you go.
And and the results of building something hangs around a lot longer than the fact that you tow something down. When you tow something down and get rid of the garbage and whatever's left, and you got a clear site, and then somebody put something else there, you forget what was there before easily. So
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to call, I've gave you my cell phone, so give it to you again. It's 813-230-3312.
But he will not answer it.
That's my cell phone. Email Eddie at porchtalkradio.com. Eddie at porchtalkradio.com. I actually had somebody say they tried to email, but they couldn't email me, and so they texted me on my phone and said that I was going to. Yeah, I know who that is. See. Every week when I give the show out, there's some people who have dedicated their life to, when I give that number out, to actually call.
God bless him.
So
Keep it up.
So I think they do it to check or do it to test.
See if you paid that bill.
But they've been doing it for a while. So I appreciate it. I don't disregard the fact that you do, when I get the number out, you do call to see if it worked. I am telling you on there, so evidently you're listening. It does work. So I did get your call. So anyway, that being said, these are strange times in which we live. 2020 somehow is going to be historical and biblical. There's going to be some stuff happen in this decade, that's going to change the face of the planet, literally. And I ain't just talking about Trump getting reelected. I'm talking about there's some other stuff.
And he is.
And there's a lot of people out there that's doing research and developing and discovering and who knows, in the next 10 years, all those space age dreams, and things that people was conceiving of, now that they got computers that can literally, design houses and build houses. I mean, they got, Xerox machine that can make weapons that work. I mean, if you come up with it, pretty much the technology is there for you to sit down, in your mother's basement and design a death ray machine and take it out in the front yard like they used to do in the cartoons and zap somebody. I'm just saying, it's all there. It's all possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking, living in a world at a time where anything can happen, anything is possible, that we don't ignore that fact and not be the ones to take advantage of it, because somehow someone once told me that black folks were not creative.
What?
Of course he was white,
Fool.
And then you start saying, well, what have black folks done? And then, see, at that time, I didn't have the knowledge base that I have now,
Mm-hmm.
where I could have, ran off like 500 things quite quickly, and embarrassed them. But again, I was in a controlled, bureaucratic setting, and I worked in a laboratory, and everybody in the lab, but me was white. So of course, that's why he said it. I think he was trying to belittle me, but again, not having the force of all the knowledge that I have now about not only me but my people and the culture,
My peoples.
and what we done, where somebody can say something as stupid as that, get away with it, or even talk about the Egyptians, and a lot of people think the Egyptians are the Egyptians or the Arabs or the folks who live in that part of the world now. But when you talk about 3,000, 4,000 years ago, those people were not the people that are there now. I'm just
Well, there's a lot
telling
of black people back then that were part of the deal. Yeah.
I'm just telling you. That's why they came through and shot the noses off the Sphinx and shot the noses off all those giant statues that's in the Valley of Kings. Those kings were black men. And they had noses that were flat like mine. So again, there's certain Europeans and certain people that come from other parts of the world that was trying to hide that fact, by destroying some of the features that was on the statues. Again, how you not blow off a whole face and just blow off the nose of all this? And they didn't just do it in America. I actually went to China, and I went to other, I've been to other parts of the world where they have defaced statues of folks who were not Anglo or were not white, in the same way, same means. You know, and I don't understand why people do that. But again, it has something to do with your self value and your self image. So it expresses itself in different ways in other parts of the world. Which brings us to our topic of the day.
Moving along.
And I don't hear all the Saturday morning shows on TMP. I'm sorry.
Well, you got a life going on,
I ain't
Eddie.
gonna say I got a life, but it just happened this morning. I plan to spend the day working on the float for our parade.
How's it looking?
Float. Well, we didn't get a lot done today because it rained all day. You know, I got there, set up, and then next thing I know, it was raining, and it's been raining ever since. So did not get a lot done today, but did get the chance to hear a couple of the shows, and what I have heard and what I know, and I don't know how we're gonna make this work because it's a group effort. We have to communicate with each other. We have to work with each other. And in Tampa, Hillsborough County, for black folks, that's a problem. I'm sorry, I'm gonna hit the nail on the head, and then you can take it and deal with it, you know, with however you want to deal with it. We, 2020, black folks in the community, the elected officials, the black leadership, the ones who want to be leaders, the ones who actually are leaders, you know, and the regular folks, we need to figure out what an agenda that we need to make to help the community. Because if we all get on the same
That'd
agenda,
be powerful, Eddie. That'd be powerful.
if we can all get on the same agenda, get the same thing, do an analysis, and I don't want to be educated, you know, have me think like, you know, folks who are actually educated look at this and make it hard for the regular folks. No, I'm talking about do an analysis of what we need to have done in Tampa, you know, and Hillsborough County. And I'm not just talking about, you know, the things that everybody can see. I'm talking about stuff that people maybe don't see. Because I don't live in East Tampa or West Tampa. I live in Tampa Terrace. You got black folks all over Hillsborough County.
Oh, yeah.
The issues of the community are issues of black folks. It don't matter whether you live in East Tampa or West Tampa, you know, a Progress Village, a Carver City. You know, the fact that you're black in Hillsborough County means that there's a common bond where if the community does well, you take pride. If the community don't do well, then you kind of feel it because it affects all of us. It may not affect all of us equally, but it affects all of us. So what I propose, and I've done this, and I've kind of jumped out on that limb by myself before, but, and I don't even know who I should aim this at. I don't know, we aiming at the elected officials, or we aiming at the leaders, or we aiming at the pastors, you know, or we aiming at, you know, people like Candy Lowe and Connie Burden, you know, and Yvette Lewis, you know, because we all know those folks as people making stuff happen in the community. But somehow we got to get together, and I know that there was the Democratic Black Caucus had agenda of equality, of inclusion, and some other stuff. But we need to sit down and seriously look at our problems as a community, look at solutions to those problems, and look at, you know, what this is where we always get stuck. Look at a timeline. Give it a time, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 10 months, whatever it is, of how you make benchmarks, how you make steps, and you need to be certain place by a certain time.
Well, but Eddie, I think you're trying to outline for everybody. You don't want this just to be a regular bit session, come and complain. We need to have some solutions to the table instead of just don't come with your complaint. You can find that all day long. But be a part of the solution, be a part of the answer, not a part of the problem. And Eddie's trying to encourage everyone that everyone's got some ideas that might Maybe they haven't been heard before. Maybe they have, but we haven't had the power in the community. Bring it all together. And Eddie's saying, you know, if you got some ideas, you've got some good solutions. You know some problems that exist, but you got some ideas on it. Let's come to the table and let's talk about that and let's see what's really reasonable. But again, Eddie, if you get any community together, like you're saying, that's power. Elected officials listen suddenly because they see a group of people showing up, and then politicians they want to be suddenly they want to be a part of that. And if you guys are coming to the table with some solutions, some answers, hey, we got a problem over here in this part of town, this thing going on, we believe this type of situation would fix it. And the more you bring them the ideas, they might even go, well, I think we can do that.
Yeah, but again, the issue, primary issue becomes as a community. So see, as a community, we are so divided. You know, everybody got their own agenda, doing their own thing, and it's been that way for so long.
So find some points of commonality, you're saying.
Here in Hillsborough County. So, you know, the first thing to do is kind of figure out who needs to call the meeting. I mean, do it need to be the NAACP? Do it need the Black Caucus? You know, do it need to be elected official? You know, do it need to be the churches? You know, do it need to be a church person? You know, a pastor? I don't know how we do it, and that's why I'm speaking to the audience. I'm talking to the folks who listening to this show. Some of you listen to this show even though you may hate me and my guts. I understand.
Oh, Eddie, come on now.
I
Don't be doing
understand that. I understand that. There are some people who tell me to my face, you know, they don't like my politics. But again, at the end of the day, this community solving, helping agenda thing is one of the parts about me that they do like. So they like that I'm trying to look out and make sure some things happen and we move this community forward. And that's what's important to me. So I don't care if you like me or don't like me, you know, as a person, as an individual, as a radio personality, any of those other things. You know, what I do like and what I hope you respect is that the only way we're going to really make anything significant happen is that we figure out how to work together and come up with an agenda that serves the entire black population. And again, I ain't talking, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of folks, you know, why are you, you know, racist or prejudiced, or, you know, because you're saying, you know, we want to help. Well, I don't think it's prejudice or racist or anything else to want to help my people. Everybody else on this planet look out for their own people. You know, it's about time, you know, black folks start understanding that if we work together, we can make the lives of folks who look like us better. I mean, the Chinese and the Japanese and the Asians figured that out a long time ago. I mean, they don't have to stay in Chinatowns. They don't have to. But they find out that if they stay in Chinatown, they don't have to learn English, a lot of them, and all the stuff that's familiar to them, that they spend money with their own people, the community prospers, they do well, but the only issue becomes when you have a big party or a large invading force, all y'all in the same place. That's a natural issue with monolithic populations. Even in nature.
Using fancy words.
Well, I'm just saying that means everybody being the same. That's like milk. So part of it, you know, everybody keeps saying your diversity or our diversity is a strength. Well, within our community, we are diverse within the black community.
Sure.
We have a lot of people with all levels of education, all different interests, you know, but at some point in time, how do we come together and work on coming up with an agenda? Because until we get that agenda and make sure black folks, white folks, red folks, green folks, you know, polka dot people understand what our agenda is, then sometimes people will actually help you, even though your agenda, you know, may not be helping them, you know, but the fact of the matter that they want you to do well. And if they want you to do well, sometimes people will help you. And that's what it's all about. It's not just us solving our problems. It's like we've always been, you know, we got problems, and sometimes it may take a strong mayor to help us solve our problem, because she got $1 billion in her budget to do stuff with. I mean, and it's been proven over the years that money somehow goes and flows everywhere in Hillsborough County. And I'm not just talking about Tampa, but in Hillsborough County, money goes and flows everywhere except for the black community. I'm just saying.
And again, back to what you just started this conversation with, Eddie, is getting people united. Have you guys come together on some common issues, some common things y'all can agree on. Diversity is nice, but if y'all continue staying divided, then you continue being not as powerful. But if you are all together on the same page on particular issues and things you want to fix, then the city will listen and they'll come to the table with money.
Well, that's what you would hope. I mean, that's what happened in other
They got money, Eddie.
Other scenarios. But again, my whole thing is being independent. We can solve our own problems within our own community. And if you need outside help, then there's people within our community that knows how to bring those resources
Absolutely.
to the table. Because that's what it's really about. People are so used to us being dependent upon other sources and other folks to solve our issues. I just want to show folks that we can do it ourselves. If we come up with an agenda and then we work toward achieving that agenda, it makes us prideful. And that's a word, that means you have pride in yourself, pride in stuff you've done. You've actually put the effort out. You had a problem, you solved it yourself. Now the next generation of folks who come after us can learn how it's done. And then they do it. So that means you're strengthening, the people who come after you. You're teaching them, they're learning, and they're following. You're setting the pattern. And once the pattern is set, you'll be surprised that what we can do for ourselves, and it takes begging out of the equation. So you don't teach those bad habits. You don't have them out there trying to beg folks to do stuff like you can't do it yourself. Anything I can do for myself, I ain't gonna ask you to do. That's just me.
And again,
That's just me.
I think that's the independent streak that exists in most of us to want to do what's right. And we understand that as long as we have a plan, and we start working a plan, and if we have other people on board with us to work that plan together, we're going to get some results what we wanted. In other words, it's not going to just be helter-skelter, but when you have to rely on somebody else, suddenly you find yourself having to put up with what they want. Well, you can change that over here and change it over here. Before long, it don't look nothing like what you started with, and you just created a new problem. So again, if people don't have a vision, and I think that's what he's trying to guide you a little bit, you guys don't have a vision, then you'll perish, or you'll continue where you are, and Eddie'd like to move the community forward out of that. Make sense?
Well, there's the big picture, and then there's the little picture. I mean, everybody is working on their own little picture.
Right.
As opposed to taking some time, some energy, some effort, and actually developing a big picture that moves the whole community forward, thereby helping other people, achieve their little picture. Because if everybody's doing well, if the tide comes in and all the floats, rise, which is what they say, a rising tide floats all boats, except for the ones at the bottom. Well, but them got holes in them, ain't nothing gonna help them.
That wasn't going to work to begin with. They knew it, and everybody knew it,
Yeah.
and it worked just like it was designed.
Well, it
It
still
did.
stays at the bottom.
Yeah.
The ones with the holes in them, still bad. But the ones that are floating, then they float higher and taller, bigger, badder. All those adjectives that make for a community to feel pride in itself. And it's been a while. I'm just gonna say this, and then everybody call and chop my head off. But as a community pride thing, something that we can take pride in that we did for ourselves, and other people can see. Because I know, and I'm not speaking bad about the LGBTLQ and all that kind of stuff.
MOUSC,
Yeah. I'm not speaking bad. I'm just saying those folks woke up one day and decided, they weren't going to hide no more. They were coming out the
They
closet.
combined resources, they combined their voices, and everybody knows about them.
We're going to take a voice. We're going to take it nationally. We're going to start at the top and work our way down.
Start funding politicians.
And now, even Mayor Castor has a LGBT, liaison with the community. I'm just saying that now from what I gathered, I'm gonna say this, and if I'm wrong, somebody call and correct me. She don't have a black liaison, black folks been around and bitching and complaining and raising hell for years.
Well, they also ain't doing loud enough. She has representative from that other side, but not your team.
Well, and so for me, stuff like that is something that's visible. I mean, they've had an effect, to the point to where either they elected the right mayor.
Well, they're giving a chair at the table, Eddie.
Or they were responsible for something happened, and again, it's not something that we can't do. I mean, we got 100,000 black folks, in Hillsborough County. You can elect anybody you want, with 100,000 votes where the community decided.
You can just get 75% of that to show up. Oh my goodness.
What we're gonna do, they decide what we do. So the wherewithal is there. It's just how do we mobilize it? How do we make it happen? How do we do something? How do we do something other than complain? See, that's my primary issue, and that's what I hear a lot. And I said on last week's show that our elected officials got to get a thicker skin, because the nature of being elected black in Hillsborough County, is your harshest critics gonna be your own people.
Yeah, they're Hispanics, Eddie.
And I don't have a
we
problem.
tear each other up.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But what's the other side of it? Other than tearing that person up, how do we get together and help them? How do we build something where the community as a whole gonna be a different community? We're not gonna be the same detrimental, community that's its own worst enemy. And I've been saying that. I've been saying that for years. We are our own worst enemy. I'm talking about black folks. And if you don't understand what I'm saying black folks hurt themselves more than do anybody else.
So Eddie, with all this spoken about trying to get people, the community together, do you have a window about in your head on time, or when you want to meet up sometime in the near future, that everybody kind of meet up and come to the table, hopefully with some fresh ideas?
Well, that's the thing. I thought about this a lot, and I can't be the one that calls and leads this thing.
Because you got plenty going on as it is.
And it's got to be somebody
You, young?
that it don't have to be a body. It could be a group of people. I'm just saying.
With purpose.
I'm just saying it needs to happen. It needs to happen, and I don't want the person that calls the meeting to be the issue of the meeting. I want there to be elected officials. I want there to be pastors. And I want it to be our community leaders that everybody recognizes as community leader. Candy and Connie and Yvette and a few of those other folks that everybody, we got, black woman magic, happening here in Hillsborough County. That's one thing I can say, that we have some black women that have stand up and fought the battle and won the battle repeatedly. It's just a matter of how do we get everybody on a page. You don't have to give up your thing. You can keep doing your thing, but it's important for us to get a collective thing. Get a collective thing that we can all fight and put our energies and not to overwhelm or overshadow or any of that other stuff that makes us, competitive for us defeating each other. How do we pick? I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna just throw it out there. We got one black seat for city council. We got one black seat for county commission. We got one black seat on the school board. I mean, it's all designed that way. And that.
Well,
that,
Eddie, come on, don't get yourself in trouble here with these
that's
politicians.
appeasement. That's appeasement.
If that's what the plantation manager said, that's what it is.
Well,
that's all you're allowed.
Well,
you got to stick to that. You can't get off plantation.
The
Don't do a Kanye West thing here, okay?
The issue becomes we have 15 people who are good, viable candidates, all run for that one slot.
Because that's what they were told.
And I have been saying this ever since I've been on the radio, so that's been 10 years. Why don't some of those viable people decide and pick some of those other slots, and as a community, we can pick two?
You're thinking out of the box, Eddie.
We're going to get a black person for that black seat.
You're not being politically correct, Eddie.
No matter what.
You're not being politically correct here, buddy.
As a community, we can say, well, we want another slot. Pick one. We can pick that large slot. I mean, we can, as a community, 100 voters, 100,000 voters, we can pick one of the large spots, or we can pick another another community that's close to ours, or pick another way to do it. But there's a lot of ways to do it. The question is, as a group of folks, we need to make the magnitude of us working together something that's going to benefit the whole community. So,
And noticeable. Obviously, they're going to see that coming to the voting polls.
Yeah.
They're still going to be talking to you guys. You got your representative suddenly has a chair at the table to come talk to the mayor and say, hey, we need some help with this. And now you got a direct ear to someone that can actually do something.
get 2 chairs, 3 chairs.
Oh, Eddie, you're thinking out of the box again, okay? I'm just trying to say one chair, just one thing at a time here.
Well, we got 1 chair. That's the issue.
Okay.
That's the problem.
But everybody's crowding that one chair?
We have 15 people running for that 1 seat,
Musical chairs.
as opposed to
With one chair.
taking a talent, dividing it up and getting some of this other stuff happening. But that's how we solve problems within the community. If we decide, the community say we got a leader that we want to get elected to a slot other than the blank seat, how do we do that? And that becomes an agenda for the community. And as a community, we will benefit because as opposed to having 4 votes needed, we still need 4 votes needed no matter what we do. But we already got 2 of them who are already on the same page.
And
so
again,
so that means you only got to get 2 more to make stuff happen on the county commission, school board, the city council, all that stuff.
there's got to be some younger people out there in the 30s, 40s that have something figured out. And I think we've talked to several, Eddie, through the show and events we've gone out to that have enough figured out that they could run for this kind of stuff. And nothing wrong with the retreads, the old heads running for these offices too. That's nice.
We got a caller.
But we need some young blood.
Welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday rainy afternoon. Caller, what say you? Okay, well, the caller.
He's so excited. He just heard our voice and he
Yeah.
just lost connection. I
Yeah,
understand.
That's okay. That's okay. We good. But we, and I say we collectively, we, need to start thinking about some things of how we change the system so that it will actually work for us as opposed to constantly being against us. And it's ways that we can do that will help us and not so much hurt somebody else. It's not a zero-sum game where if you help yourself, you hurt somebody else. All right, they call us back. Okay, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? What say you?
Okay, calling from Tampa, Eddie. I want to say to you, thank you for your good work, but injecting the voting procedure, when our peoples run 5 and 10 for 1 slot, I suggest that you put all those names for 1 slot in a bag and then put 1 name and everybody get behind that person.
And I actually
That's not a bad idea.
And I actually have said that before. That 1 seat that we know we're gonna get, as of having all those people run and fight and kill and shoot and mangle.
I realize everybody want to be the king and the
Right,
queen, but that's
right.
the only way we're gonna accomplish anything in that voting line.
She's
Right.
on to something, Eddie.
Yeah.
That's good.
And see that way we don't have to worry about 1 seat. We can get 2 because if we can get the
we have
1.
the opportunity
Right.
more if we would do that, but we got that.
I know.
And I'm glad you brought up about the Egypt because I've been telling them we was black, they was black, and we was rich and still rich.
Right. Well, when they
I'm
change.
I'm gonna have to get off.
Well, thank you so
Thank
very
you
much
so
for
much,
the call.
man. God bless you.
Well, I had a conflict because I had Cleopatra and I had all these people that I've been seeing all my life on TV playing Egyptians and pharaohs and all that other stuff. And then I look at these folks. I've not been to Egypt myself, but I will go one of these days. It's on my bucket list. But I see all these pictures of these people in these pyramids and in these tombs and in these grave sites and these pictures on the wall. And them folk got cornrows in their hair.
Oh, my goodness.
I am going to tell you,
You sure about that?
the only people on this planet who routinely wears cornrows are Africans and African descendants. I'm just saying. Because if your hair ain't nappy enough, you can't wear cornrows. I've seen them plait white folks' hair, and it look like white folks' hair being plaited. It don't look like cornrow. It's a difference. I'm just telling you.
Eddie, come on.
Because of the texture of your hair, and the fact that they were wearing cornrows 4,000 years ago, you know, I'm quite sure that the folks that are there now, the folks who we consider to be Egyptians and people from Arabs and folks from that part of the world, they don't wear cornrows now, and they didn't wear them then. So those pictures of people with cornrows in their hair were black, and I'm saying like that they were African. Let me say it like that, so that way we don't mix and get people confused. You know, and as you travel and see stuff, history tends to be reflected by the person telling you the history. So somehow, you know, black history gets destroyed, bent, bullied, beat up, misshapen, and somehow these folks could not be historical heroines or heroes, you know, because they were black folks. Somehow, because they did stuff and they became global figures, they had to be white. So they make the character who plays them and they have everybody identify these people as white folks when they was actually historically black. All right, we got another caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio as we kind of talk about how we move this thing forward this Saturday, rainy Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from, and what say you?
I'm Sally Lee, and I'm calling from Tampa, Florida. And Happy New Year. All the seeing from Sean to you has been so very interesting. And I just think if we could especially stop the sisters from being so rude to each other, number one. And think that there's only the people that's already in power that knows how to do things. And since I've been with the organization for 2 years, no one has ever asked me to come to the table or wanted to listen about my program or project. I've been to meetings at night. I don't drive. My car got wrecked. I was the only one walking, and everybody from the meeting left me walking in the dark at almost 8:30 at night, and they act like what I have to say is not important. So I just sort of withdrew my energy and just went back to praying and just want to see how we going to present ourselves in 2020 with our problems, because first we got to get past that selfish attitude and just look at the big picture and what we need to be doing as leaders and citizens and preachers and whatever. We got to get past all that and say, hey, I'm leaving all this at the door. We are here to make our community better. And stop being rude and take on the issues of what is blocking our community from moving forward and our entrepreneurs with funding. And you just don't know who you can depend on to do forward. And I have been so insulted by people in power just the same color. So I'm just about to stop going to meetings and doing a lot of things in the community I used to do. As soon as we can get past that, we'll be okay.
Well, thank you so very much. And see, that's kind of what I was talking about. You know, having pride in your community and stuff that people are doing in your community, and not have the great ideas come from folks who somehow got elected, folks who are already in powerful positions, because them people got resources and they know how to make stuff happen. I want to put together, you know, have a forum where everybody gets a chance to put some ideas out there, have people listen, and create an agenda that works for everybody. Because I'm gonna tell you, the elected official already got a platform.
Oh yeah.
People who have radio shows got a platform. You know, folks like this young lady who just got off the phone, don't have a platform. But
she can't give up a little.
They may have great ideas, great strategies, great resources that they can bring to the table, but they are never ever heard from because they get discouraged, and sometimes you have the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that you have the weight of the world, but you feel like that.
Right.
And so if you feel like that, you might as well have the weight of the world on your shoulder because the only person living under your shoulders is you. So part of this whole process got to be how the community hears its citizens. And that's something the elected officials should be saying, because I know when they was running, I would listen to you. But you know, most of the time that was a strategy to help them get elected. Them saying I will listen to you and them actually listening is two different things. It's easy to say it on the campaign trail. I'm gonna listen to you and I'll help you solve your problem. Well, they listen to you, but they never solve your problem.
Right.
I'm just saying. I heard a huge battle going on this morning. I mentioned this last week. Part of this process of Forest Hills is getting a new wreck. Now, someone brought up something that's going on with Forest. Now, I mean, for the one that's over on 34th Street. So there's a new wreck supposed to be going in, but they've been talking about that for 10, 11 years, from what I gather. Forest Oaks. But they spent $34 million putting boat ramps and yachting, tie downs and a huge air conditioner, nice center down on the riverfront. $34 million taxpayers' money, and that was appropriate, But I did hear someone say, well, they're not going to spend $3 million on Forest Oaks. Well, why?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it's in the hood, Well, I'm saying the only way you're going to get some value is put some value in order to get value out. And if you never spend that kind of money, you're never going to have those kind of resources. You're never going to have those kind of facilities. And you're never going to be able to take that kind of pride. Those folks on the river with their rowboats and their yachts and stuff, they're not 5% of the population.
Mm-mm.
But they got $34 million facility built. So when they decide they want to do something, they got somewhere nice to go and do it, and that's what's important.
With your money.
That's what's important, because the money that's made by government is not made by them working, exchanging dollars for hours. It's them taking money out of your pocket. Taxes is how the government pays for everything. They literally say we need so and so, and we need a rec center. All right, how we gonna build a rec center? We're gonna take $5-6 million out of the tax money, this money in this pot we got over here, and we're gonna build a rec center. Well, they never choose to build $5-6 million rec centers in the black community. Point well taken. Look around. When you find one of them, let me know. Call in and tell me. That's not because you don't need one, because you ain't important enough to get one. And you're not organized and
organized. You're back to that word organization again, aren't you, Eddie?
In the right place where that becomes your agenda, that you make somebody else, appreciate that you got an agenda, and somewhere on your agenda is a $5 million rec center for your kids and for the neighborhoods and for the people to have some place to go. It's us folks here at Porch Talk Radio make sure that we understand that the priority's got to be something that's a community-wide priority, not just a local priority. And sometimes doing stuff like that becomes more than local. It is something for the community to have a nice place to go, to not just have an event place where you got to have 800, police officers, with guns to feel safe. It shouldn't be like that. I'm just saying.
Shouldn't be that way.
I'm just saying.
And so, folks, you see construction sites thing happening around town, sidewalks going in, these rec things being put in place. Understand that didn't just happen out of the air. Somebody said, hey, we'd like to have a rec center in our nice neighborhood. We know you got tax dollars, and I know that I helped vote for you. Well, guess what? That gets their attention right there. Yes, they know they got money. And yes, they can put it wherever they want. And if you don't get them on your side, then they won't do it. And they'll just go spend it over on the other side. And the hood continues being the hood, and it never improves. And it's for you to understand that all these projects around town, these things being built, the city's building, that's your money, that's your taxes. Eddie, what do we not get taxed for in this town? Is it just groceries?
You get taxed for everything, including groceries.
Everything that you get taxed on, you buy gas and all that, that all goes to the city. They get their little piece of that, and then they get to spend it. And if you aren't giving them direction, they'll spend whatever the heck they want.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out there too, cause I technically usually don't take emails while I'm doing the show because I can't look, because Gabriel's actually was talking, so I could look down at my phone.
I was distracting.
And one of my good friends, and also my frat brother, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus on the radio.
We'll catch you later.
But he said what we're talking about is a community blueprint, and that's actually what we are talking about, a blueprint, because you take blueprints and you build something with it, you make something happen.
Aren't you the architect, Eddie?
It's a plan of action, and again, having another point of view of what we're trying to do here, if it makes it explainable or understandable to a certain segment of the population, I don't mind saying it's a blueprint for the future, 2020, 2020 blueprint for the black community, and that's important. And I have people from all walks of society, blacks and white, who listen to this show. So a lot of time I am putting stuff out there. I don't know who ears it's gonna fall upon, be it good or bad. We just put it out there, and it falls on the right ears. Occasionally, and folks will respond. And like I say, people will call me after the show. Okay, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this dreary Saturday afternoon, but we're going to get through it and make some stuff happen. Who are you, and what say you?
Yes, Mr. Eddie, I just wanted to get you straight. I don't know what you mean by I don't have a platform. I am a county commissioner graduate, and I'm one of the founders and one of the people that work with the weed and seed that we got the north side put together like now, and we did everything in the work. And I've been running a housing referral program at Robert Sanders for 2 years without any money and any help for the naysayers and the talkers. So I do have a platform. I'm God's agent, and I know how to get things done with or without money. And I've been doing my job since 1980, and I'm a paralegal and some other things. And I know, like I say, how to get the job done. I don't talk when God sends me to do something in a certain place. I roll up my sleeves, I follow his guidance, and I get it done. Thank you.
Well, God bless you.
Thank you.
We need to be in these meetings in. We need your help.
I did not know whether or not that person had a platform.
Well, she's more clarity, and I think she's going to be great at one of these meetings, Eddie.
But that's how you do it. You speak up for yourself. You call in.
Come on.
Where she has the same platform that I use, and make sure folks knew and understood that she has a platform and she can make some stuff happen.
Great at one of these meetings.
And what we need to do again is put together a room full of people who has the drive and the willingness and the know-how. When I was a kid, my mom had 5 kids. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. She worked 16 hours a day. She worked 2 jobs most of my younger years, and we learned how to do stuff with nothing. Black folks did most stuff with nothing than any other people on the planet.
Right there with you guys on some of this stuff.
Any other people on the planet. So at some point in time, you actually do get tired of trying to do something with nothing, but it becomes a way of life. If you can do something with nothing, if they ever decide to give you something, give you a little bit of something, well, you can become world beaters. You can make all kind of stuff happen.
Exactly.
I mean, you can build bridges, but again, it's making opportunities, and having a blueprint to make something happen. So I would like to challenge, and I don't know who particularly to challenge, but the folks who the folks who you look up to, the folks who have a platform to start working on this community agenda, this blueprint for what we're going to take 2020 to make 2030 and 2040 and 2050, because they got to start somewhere and they got to start sometime. And I can't think of a better place than right now.
Come on.
The start of a new decade. to stick your foot in the ground and change direction, because where we've been going ain't been getting us nowhere. History tells us that. So let's make some changes, and actually start out with a plan. Let's get a plan. Let's get an agenda. Let's get a blueprint for something, and then run with it. And the person who sent me the text, they are the kind of person that we can help make this stuff happen. And he know who he is, so this is something maybe he can call a meeting, start using the airways here at TMP, the Florida Sentinel. I mean, there's some media, communication apparatuses, apparatchiks, that's available to make this happen. And if you have one meeting, the first meeting ain't gonna be to do all the end all to make stuff happen, but it's the beginning. And that's how it started. You start every trip with one step. You got to take that first step out the door to start your journey, no matter if you're going around the world or not. How you going to make some stuff happen. So I'm going to do on this day.
Come on, let's get her done.
And then, for a couple of seconds, we're going to talk about our other topics. And hopefully, we'll build upon the community issue and come back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Hearing some folks with some better ideas and some good ideas as to how we make this happen for the whole community. And when we start making that happen, folks will jump on. Folks love to jump on the bandwagon. The hardest thing it is about a bandwagon, any other kind of wagon, is to get it moving. So if we can get something started and make it friendly, usable, useful for folks to help,
absolutely,
then they will. Okay. On this day, January the 4th. Now, as I've told you guys before who listen to this show on a regular basis, some days are important, and they have, 4 pages of stuff that happened on that day. Some days are less important. This is one of those days where it's some stuff that happened, but it ain't global stuff, if you know what I mean, So anyway, today, January the 4th, 1896, Utah, those states are always good when the state came into existence. Utah became the 45th U.S. state.
There's only 3 people up there. It's cold. It's way too cold.
Well, on this date, January the 4th, 1962, New York City introduced a train that operated without conductors or motormen. Yeah. On this day, January the 4th, 1974, U.S. President Nixon refused to hand over the tape recordings and documents subpoenaed by the Senate Watergate Committee. Boy, no matter how old we get, some of the same old stuff keep coming back.
Same old.
And every time, we got folks that act like this is the first time it ever. Oh, yeah, well, everybody else gave up the doc. No, somebody didn't. Right there, this day,
And actually, Eddie, now technically, he was never impeached. He just resigned.
No, but he didn't give up no documents. And he didn't give up no tapes. So that's what it's saying. It's saying on this date in 1974, Nixon refused to hand over his tape recordings and the documents subpoenaed by the
because that was evidence.
and that was subpoenaed by the Senate. This wasn't the House. That was the Senate committee.
Because the House means nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, and on this day, 1999, former professional wrestler Jesse Ventura was sworn in as Minnesota's 37th governor. And he was not Democrat, and he was not Republican. He was independent. So that shows that the independent can win or make some stuff happen. When everybody say, "Well, independent would never win," well, evidently every now and then,
what gets through?
Every election cycle, somebody wins that ain't supposed to win, and all the powers that be, and all the naysayers and all the know-it-alls, come up with, well, how did that guy win? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Are we talking about 2016 again, Eddie? You trying to slide in on the side door here?
I'm just trying to say, as a community, we got to have some of those how did they win situations, because again, this community can make some stuff happen, and won't nobody see it coming. All you got to do is get the proper organization together and lay the framework and get the you know, and get the plans. You know, again, it's just a matter of us working together, and you'll be surprised because in working together, you find that there's people in a room that you traditionally don't associate with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they have the ability to make some stuff happen, and now you're with them, and they're with you, and God makes things happen, you know, in His own way and in His own time. So
all the time, and just hanging in there, folks, and don't give up. And for those that are whining, complaining that Trump did something without somebody's permission and all that, you know, please understand. For those of you that have short memories, 2,800 missile strikes that Obama did against Iran, nobody made a noise. Trump does one little deal and boom, everybody's head explodes.
Well, I don't call it a little deal when you kill somebody, but the fact of the matter
Compared to 2,800 strikes,
Yeah.
that's a big difference.
Considering that Trump
That Obama did.
basically said, and this is the part about it, I know some other folks have had a conversation about it. When you start killing Americans, it should be a big deal. And at the point in time that you feel faithful, strong, you know, arrogant enough to start killing Americans,
Mm-hmm.
you know, on a global level, I think you need to start looking behind your back, grow some eyes in the back of your head, grow some eyes on the top of your head, because if you comfortably kill Americans in other parts of the world, then more Americans are gonna die. If you do it and fire rains from the sky on your head,
Mm-hmm.
other people will watch, will see, and maybe think twice. If not, you know, they have a president that's strong enough that tell other folks this is what we're doing. And I'm telling you something else he said. He said, if you want to stay in the oil business, because they only got three refineries. If you want to stay in the oil business, you know, kill some more Americans. That's what you do. And that's one less problem you're going to have.
Well, and Eddie, again, we know that Iran's always been a bad actor. They've always been
Sure.
a bad player. They've never held up any of their end of the bargains on treaties. We know that they had 6 oil tankers that they had already sabotaged. We know that, and Trump did nothing. He let it go. We know that Iran shot down a U.S. drone. That's $240 million of your tax money. They shot one of those down. Trump does nothing. Trump downplays it. They attacked the Saudi oil fields. Iran does all this. Trump does nothing. They come mess around with one of our embassies where U.S. people are. He's done. And now he's the warmonger.
Well, they killed some contractors too a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true. So it's like, okay, so Iran's been doing this.
American contractors.
Yeah, Iran's been doing this to us forever, guys.
Yeah.
They've been taunting us. They've been bullying us. Obama gave them $150 million cash to behave, and Trump sent them
Billion.
Yeah. He's
1.5
So
billion.
Obama gave them cash, a pallet load.
Yeah.
And then Trump says, "No, I don't play that way." He just sent them a bomb. So just a different. It's foreign policy
Well,
either
he
way.
drew a line in the sand, but it wasn't the line that you can cross or not cross. I mean, he drew the line in blood. So if you want to extend the process to the next level, he pretty much said, "We ready. We got the biggest, baddest military in the world, and if you want it on your doorstep, keep acting ugly."
So again, Iran has been doing this to America, guys, for almost forever, and the Bush administration didn't do much about it. Obama just gave him cash, and Trump just gave him bombs. And you know what? So people say, is he going to start a war? They've been doing this to us for years. This is nothing new, folks. We just now finally responded after, 24 years probably? We just finally responded. Now, Obama came out with 2,800 strikes he did on his own. He didn't ask Congress. And that was okay. The media loved it. Now, Trump does one little deal, and the head blows up.
I'm not going to rationalize it as being good or bad. I'm just saying the effect of it is something that's gonna hang around for a while. And he basically said, that's step one. Now, if you want me to go to step 2, step 3, step 4, we got as many steps as it takes to eliminate the problem. And if we got to send one over for you, if you become the source of us having to spend this additional money trying to control and make some stuff happen, we got a drone with your name on it.
Eddie, word on the street, Iran needs a new military general. Trump's even creating jobs in Iran.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so it's that time again,
God bless America.
And the clock is ticking, and
People not gonna know.
and we making some stuff happen. But the important
Blueprint, black community.
the important part is to look at how you play a part in the future of what's going to happen here in Hillsborough County. And until next week,
Same bat time.
same bat time, same bat channel,
There you go.
same folks. God bless you. We love you.
God bless America.
See you then. Hear you then.
Boom.
Bye bye.